Hello, my name is Robert Grizzle, and this is my discussion post for week 5 of American Christian Heritage at Liberty University Online. The topic I want to speak on today is the Scopes monkey trial and the role that the newspapers played in public opinion. It is the goal of this discussion to demonstrate that objectivity and honesty are essential in historical research. Some of the articles that we run across, you tend to run across things, especially when speaking about fundamentalists, there's always a negative, seems to be always a negative take on fundamentalists as being backwards. And it's interesting, some of the articles that can be found on this in the newspapers. One, just to start with, one source was a letter to the editor by a gentleman named Hunter Thomas. This was, in this letter, he mentions, he compares the Scopes trial to the burning of Filippo Giordano Bruno by the city of Rome in 1600. And he was burned at the stake for teaching the Copernican theory. He said that the trial will have one good effect. It will discover to the rest of the country the appalling ignorance and superstition of Tennesseans, the quality and mental makeup of their legislators. Another interesting quote comes from an article from the New York Times called "Calls Bryan Absurd. Westminster Gazette Marvels at His Stand in the Scope Case." This is dated June the 12th, 1925. This is a newspaper in London has stated that William Jennings Bryan of counsel for the prosecution as too absurd for serious people to consider. It would seem wise to sweep the law into the limbo of forgotten, useless things, for no considerable body of men and women can afford to live long on their intelligence. So as you can see here, even over in London, this topic has come up, and it just shows the scope of this trial. And William Jennings Bryan receives a lot of really, frankly, hateful statements from the press at different times. Another article from the New York Times, they seem to be one of the most outspoken about this, but another one of the articles is called "Crank and Freaks Flock to Dayton." This is from the New York Times. This is dated July the 11th, 1925. And they say that nearly all of them, all the visitors to town, were Tennesseans who were from mountain farms, and that they wore overalls, gingham, and black to attend the trial. And they said it seemed to them as a battle for God, or for the Lord, excuse me. The crowds were, in their words, assaulted by cranks and preachers of strange ideas who have descended upon Dayton like a visitation of locusts. One of the more outspoken critics of the period, especially a critic of William Jennings Bryan, was H.L. Mencken, and he actually went and covered the Scopes trial and wrote a special piece for the New York Times, which came out on January the 12th, It came out on January the 12th. It was reprinted on January 12th, 1982, according to this. He says in his article or his coverage that he expected to find a town full of people with hookworms and malaria. Instead, he found a country town full of charm and even beauty. But his assessment of the situation changes greatly. He said the trial takes on something of the air of a religious orgy. The trial has been carried on in a manner exactly fitted to the anti-evolution law and the simian intellectual under it. And he even takes a swipe at the judge at the time and said that the judge postures before the yokels like a clown in a 10-cent sideshow. So as you can see, public opinion was very against, especially through the New York Times, was very against the fundamentalist movement that was basically trying to prosecute this school teacher at the time. So, but it's very interesting to me to see just how venomous they could be about such things. Thank you.